population are significantly affected by these challenges. As young people are overwhelmingly likely to be in school or in vulnerable employment, they are particularly susceptible to the collateral damage from lockdowns, given systemic bottlenecks. Africa faces around internet penetration and structures for virtual working. It is even more challenging for you to access online education or remote work. As a result, we must prioritize efforts to minimize the effects of the pandemics on our youth. The urgent needs of young people are even more burning in the face of COVID-19, and the Youth Envoy emphasized on this, and we must act accordingly to meet those needs. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, at the African Union Commission, we have put responding to the pandemic front and center of our ongoing work. Some key response strategies of the Commission include: 1, establishing a COVID-19 response fund to raise $420 million to meet economic, humanitarian, and health challenges on the continent, and developing an Africa joint continental strategy for COVID-19 outbreak, which aims to prevent severe illness and death from COVID-19 infection and minimize social disruption and economic consequence of COVID-19 outbreaks. In support of the existing strategies, as well as the relentless efforts of the African Center for Disease Control in promoting evidence-based public health practice for surveillance, prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and control of COVID-19, the African Union Commission, through the Human Resources Science and Technology Department, has developed a robust Africa youth sector response to COVID-19. This strategy is targeted at member states, partners, and young people to put youth at the center of the continental response. Harnessing the digital fluency and creativity of our African youth, the three main objectives of our efforts are: 1, reducing the health risk of COVID-19 among young people; 2, minimizing the impact of COVID-19 and its containment measures on young people; and 3, mobilizing and engaging young people to be responders to the COVID-19 pandemic at the forefront of many of these actions. How do we aim to achieve these objectives? We identified 4 ways. The first we coined Be Safe. And this Be Safe speaks to a COVID-19 communications campaign to sensitize, share knowledge, and self-care practices. This Dr. Kandem spoke about. The second thing we did was to say continue learning, providing opportunities, support, and capacities for young people to continue learning through non-traditional channels. This is very, very important. Be an innovator is the third. We should provide opportunities for young people to be creative and innovate around COVID-19 challenges. And the last one is to be a responder. This, we need to mobilize young people to safely respond in supporting young people and communities to deal with COVID-19. Since April 2020, some of our key achievements include a social campaign targeted to youth on health and safety, partnering on innovation challenges such as the AFDB Africa VS virus hackathon, implementation of education initiatives such as the HP Be Online, and an online engagement and training of young people to be responders, reaching about 50,000 young people across Africa. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Vera Songwe said, this is a time to be bold, and I agree that now is the time to take action and stay awake to what is going on the continent. Inasmuch as the pandemic presents challenges which strengthen our economies and societies, we can also seek opportunities for strengthening our systems to respond to age-old issues which were mentioned before the pandemic came. We can view our current realities as an opportunity for us as government and duty bearers to develop the infrastructure and resources which will accelerate the development of our youth and in turn our continent for that transformation of Africa we want to see in 2063. This is a time for us to concentrate efforts to unlocking the systemic bottlenecks which have inhibited our progress. Digital connectivity is a continental imperative. It is evident to us all that access to the internet is a fundamental right. In our current state, access to online platforms is the difference between a young person who can continue learning and the one who is disenfranchised. It is the difference between a young person keeping their job or finding themselves unemployed. We can no longer overlook what has been laid bare by this pandemic. Empowering our youth requires strategic focus on unlocking these bottlenecks. Last week, our youth came together en masse to discuss how to build back better African economies in the aftermath of COVID-19. What is evident is that they look to countries to renew their commitment and reinforce their actions to accelerate the pace of innovation in Africa. They are calling for digital connectivity, energy and infrastructure as necessary tools for their empowerment as pivotal actors and change makers. This is the work we need to do to back up all our rhetoric on Africa's demographic dividend. This is the catalyst for the paradigm shift which we aspire. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is against this backdrop that we are here today to discuss the urgent actions we need to take, not only to survive this global pandemic, but to thrive in its aftermath and beyond. In the next few hours, we will share our experiences, exchange knowledge, and highlight our areas of support on the road to recovery. It is my hope that by the end of this conversation, we leave not only with a keen inspiration to deliver for our constituents as they expect of us, but also with concrete ideas, solutions, and partnerships to produce tangible results. Excellencies, I strongly advocate that our distinguished ministers of youth should catalyze on implementation. We need to create strategic linkages between sister ministries to have a holistic solution. We need to work with the different ministers of education, the ones of ICT, the ones of technology, the ones of trade, even as Dr. Vera has already resonated. When we listen to the AU Youth Envoy, job security, food sustainability, employment are key issues that the youth are going through. And there is no way we can be able, as youth ministers, to work on this if we do not liaise with the sister ministers to get action on the work we need to do. The dignity of our demographic asset, the youth of our continent, lies in our hands as policy makers and stakeholders. History and posterity is watching us. We need to work together and safeguard the future we so cherish and envision through investment of youth, co-creation with the youth, and giving space for them to share in nation building. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish us all fruitful deliberations. Director.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for this wonderful delivery. We, of course, couldn't expect anything less from you, knowing how passionate you are on the matter. At this point, it's my pleasure to introduce Honorable Emmanuel Mulinga, the Minister of Youth of Zambia, who is the first Vice Chair of the STC Youth, Culture and Sport. Honorable Minister, you have the challenge of establishing the gender balance in your opening remark. So you are welcome to deliver that opening remark. Is Honorable Emmanuel Mulenga with us? Honorable Mulenga.